So when you're looking for a really vibrant and energetic color to use in your home, orange may be the way to go. Hi everyone, it's Carol from Discover Interior Design, and I'm so glad you're here. In this video, I'm going to be sharing color theory about the color orange and what to think about when we are decorating with the color orange in our homes. So let's get started. So when we're talking about color theory, what we really want to keep in mind is that we want to know about a color. We want to know what it's made of and, what does it look and feel like when we see it in our home. And also we want to know how color changes. We want to know all the different variations of a color because we need to know all of that stuff to make sure that we choose a color that makes sense with the look and feel that we're going for. So when we're talking about orange, we want to first think about what is orange? What is in that color that makes it orange? And so the best place to start when we're talking about color is to look at a color wheel. And a color wheel really is a tool. It's a circular tool where we can see relationships between colors. And all of those colors are in a specific sequence in that circle so that we can really understand and see those relationships. So for instance, we can find the color orange, and if we look on either side of the color orange, we can see yellow and red. Well, that lets us know that orange is related to yellow and red, and that in fact, yellow and red create orange. So if we were going to mix yellow and red together, we would get an orange paint. And then with any color, there are going to be different variations of orange. So we can see on this color wheel that there's an orange, like a nice standard orange, but to the left and right side of it, there are different versions of orange. We can find oranges that maybe have a little bit more yellow in them, or on the other side, a little bit more red in them. And of course, every orange is made up of different combinations of different yellows and different reds and different ratios of each of those colors. So there's all these variations, even just with one color, in how that is going to look and feel. And the other thing that we can find out from looking at the color wheel is that we can find out if the color orange is either a warm color or a cool color. And what that means is that colors have a temperature to them. They have kind of a visual temperature to them. And any color that has yellows and reds in them are most likely going to be warm. Well, orange is a perfect example of that because it has both yellow and red in it. And so when we're talking about warm colors, those colors on the upper right side of the color wheel, all of those colors on that side compared to the cool colors on the other side, which are, blues and bluish purples and bluish greens, we'll notice that warm colors advance. And that means that our eye notices those colors sooner than we would notice maybe a cooler color. And then with any color, there are all these other factors that go into creating a lot of different variation in color. And that's a really wonderful thing because that way we can choose an orange that will make sense with the look and feel that we're going for. So one way that color can change is through saturation. And saturation just has to do with how intense that color is. And usually that means how much color is in that color. So for instance, with an orange, how much orange is in that orange? And the more orange there is in there, more color that is in there, then the more energetic and bold and strong that orange will be. But if we kind of tone it down a little bit and there are other colors that are added to that orange, it's going to kind of neutralize that orange. In fact, it may even turn into more of a neutral color like a brown. And the other way that color can vary is through value. And value just has to do with the lightness and darkness of a color. So with a color like orange, we could have a very light orange. Maybe it's almost a peach color. And we could have this whole range of very light oranges all the way up to an orange that would be much darker. And then we can look at paint samples to kind of get an idea of saturation and value. So we can start out with some really saturated, very vibrant, bold oranges. But if we tone them down and maybe neutralize them a little bit, it softens everything. And also we can choose a tone that maybe is a little bit lighter and more pastel. And so working with both saturation and value is really important to help create a certain look and feel that you want. And the other factor that really affects color is light. And light has to do with the natural lighting coming into our home as well as the artificial lighting, because light has a color to it. So when you go buy a light bulb, for instance, you can buy a light bulb that has more of a bluish tone or more of a white neutral tone, or maybe one that is a little bit warmer looking. And that light temperature is going to affect how the colors look in your room. So for instance, when you are choosing an orange for your wall color, I would recommend choosing at least two different colors and getting some smaller samples and then painting them on your wall so that you can kind of see which one may look better with your space, with the lighting that you have. And also at the same time, you can look at the intensity of the color or the lightness or darkness of the color to see which one you like better. Because of the nature of orange, where it's a warm color, plus on top of it, it has very vibrant colors in it, like yellow and red, we can usually look at a standard orange and consider that to be very energetic and vibrant. And when we want to add a really joyful, uplifting, stimulating color in our room, orange is a really great way to go. And then, when we're thinking about using orange, yes, it's a warm color, so it's going to kind of grab our attention because it's advancing towards us. And also that it's very energetic. So that means when we use it in our room, on a wall, or on a piece of furniture, that it's going to grab our attention. It's going to have a lot of visual weight. And visual weight just has to do with how much something is grabbing our attention. It's an area of emphasis, and we could even maybe say a focal area, because that color of orange is grabbing our attention, and so it has a lot of visual weight. And more intense, saturated colors have more visual weight to them compared to one that is maybe more toned down and neutralized. And orange is great to use in large areas or small areas of your home because it is such a bold color. You can use it on a wall, you can use it on tile, you can use it on cabinets in larger areas that will take up more visual weight in your room. And then you can also use it in smaller areas where maybe you just want like a pop of color. And that could be on throw pillows or on a pattern or even on accessories. And maybe using a lighter, softer, pastel-y orange compared to one that is much darker and deeper, that may provide a little softer look to a room. And then lots of times when we're talking about color, and this video, the color orange, we're thinking about paint colors or fabrics or tile. But there are other areas in your home, other materials in your home where you may have orange that you may not right away notice as orange. But think about looking at wood. Like if you have wood flooring or wood on your cabinets, what is the undertone? What is the main tone of that color of the wood? It may have some orange tones to it. Or what about metal. Copper has an orange tone to it, and maybe even some types of more bronze brown colored metals. And what about stone? If you have any type of stone in your home, there may be some orange tones in there. So we talked about some attributes of the color orange itself and, how it can vary. But what colors go well with orange? Well, let's go back to the color wheel to get some ideas. So we talked about how the color wheel is set up a certain way, that there are relationships that we can see and that those colors are in a specific sequence. And so we can look at the color orange and notice again that yellow and red are on either side of orange. And we know, right, that they're related colors, that orange is related to both of those colors because it has both of those colors in it. Well, one color scheme that you can use to know that, the colors are going to go well together is called an analogous color scheme, which just means those colors are next to each other on the color wheel. So yellow, red, orange all work well together. That's a nice combination of, in a patterned fabric, or if you're going to use different colors throughout a room and you want something to kind of relate to the orange but is a little different but still relates to it. That's a nice color combination to use. And then the other thing to notice is, right, we have orange on this side, but we can look opposite of orange on the color wheel and we're going to find the color blue. And what that means is that those two colors are opposite each other and they're called complementary colors. And they are really unrelated. They are total opposite. But that makes a really fun color combination, a color scheme using a complementary color scheme because it brings in some accent colors. So if you're using, some different types of oranges, bringing in blue kind of helps to offset maybe that orange and brings in an accent color and kind of gives us some variety to a space. And then the other color combination that we can find out from looking at the color wheel is what we call a secondary color combination or a secondary color scheme. And secondary refers to the secondary colors. When we have a color wheel, we start with the primary colors, those colors that we use to create all the other colors on the color wheel. And the primary colors are red, blue, and yellow. But the secondary colors are those colors created from those colors. And so orange is a secondary color because it's created from two primary colors, yellow and red. And a fun color combination that you can use is use a secondary color scheme. So, the secondary colors of orange and green and purple. And, those colors may relate to one another a little bit because green has both yellow and blue in it. So, green with orange is going to have a relationship already because they're sharing that color of yellow. Or orange with purple, we could say, oh, both purple and orange have red in them. So they kind of share that together. So there is this relationship happening already. And the last color scheme we can talk about where we can use orange is if you have primarily a neutral color scheme. So where you're using maybe earth tones like beiges and browns or white and black and gray. And I think that orange works really well when you're using cooler versions of neutral colors like a cool white, a cool gray, or black because it helps to warm up the space. And that could be where you're going to use a lot of orange to create a really special area. Or in smaller doses where you'd use orange throw pillows to kind of warm up a very cool gray sofa. So orange is a really great color to use when you want to create a vibrant look to a room in your home. I'd love to find out from you if you use orange in your home and how you use it and where it's used. So please share your design ideas and suggestions in the comments. Thanks so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Take care.